Go ahead.
The first thing up on the card here is WWE's World Cup tournament to determine who is the best in the world. I think that is the official long-winded title of this tournament.
Yes, the first ever WWE World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world. End quote.
They separated it, the two sides of the brackets, I guess you'd say, for Raw and SmackDown. And some people had to qualify to get into the tournament, and some people did not.
Well,
which is interesting.
I mean, they all kind of qualified.
Well, the people that didn't qualify are no longer in the tournament.
Exactly, because they didn't qualify.
Because they didn't qualify.
They
Why
had
would
to
somebody be in a
qualify.
tournament if they didn't qualify? Why would somebody be in a tournament if they didn't qualify?
Everybody had to beat someone.
Right.
It only makes sense.
So, the World Cup tournament, and can I quickly just address something that's been annoying me a little bit? Just a little bit?
I mean, sure. It's an open forum here.
Okay. There seems to be some sort of controversy regarding the fact that everyone in the World Cup tournament, is American. And I keep seeing this over and over again. How could you have a World Cup tournament when everybody that's participating in it is American? How could you do that? How could you do that? And this is the only time I'm ever going to say this on this podcast. It's not real. And I don't mean the matches or the action. I literally mean that the World Cup doesn't mean anything. It was made up. Just like the green title that Braun Strowman won for winning the greatest Royal Rumble. It doesn't mean anything. They just want to hand out a trophy at Crown Jewel. So just let them hand out a trophy at Crown Jewel. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect anything.
It literally won't.
Whoever wins that, they're only going to be on their respective brand the following week celebrating with it, and then it will disappear forever. Have you seen Braun Strowman's green belt that he won?
He didn't even have that the following night at Raw.
My point to my point. So stop with this. And I understand people from other countries are upset that they don't have representation in this sham tournament taking place on a Friday
at
in
noon.
an event that starts at noon, but it literally doesn't mean anything. So I just wanted to get that out there. There's no way for me to tweet that and not come off like a prick. So I haven't. I just relax with the outrage du jour. There's plenty more to be upset about at WWE Crown Jewel than your country not being represented in the tournament.
It's not like the target audience there wants to see Andrade Cien Almas versus, like Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, they want to see guys like Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy. And Randy Orton.
Yeah, no, they want to see stars that they've known their entire lives, which is why the main event of this program is happening. So,
but we'll get there.
Right. Well, that's a great point, is that they want to see established veteran stars that they enjoy. That's my soapbox moment. So there you go. Back to the action.
So, yes, as you had said before, they separated the 4 matches, 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown. So the Raw matches for the first round will be Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. Ha ha! My man, Bobby Lashley.
Smells like money.
Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler. And then on the SmackDown side of things, we'll have Jeff Hardy versus The Miz and Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton.
So let's start with who we think is going to win the tournament overall, and then we'll go through each match determining winners to get to that.
Okay.
So I have Rey Mysterio winning the Crown Jewel tournament and being declared the winner of the World Cup to determine who the best in the world is.
I also have Rey Mysterio winning the World Cup tournaments to determine the best in the world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So on the Raw side for the Rollins and Lashley match, I have Bobby Lashley winning.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw in some Dean Ambrose / Leo Rush interference after a solid match between the two. And then in the Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler match, I have Kurt Angle winning after a fun match that Ziggler makes Angle look like $1 million in. So Ziggler's going to sell his ass off to make Angle look strong, which I think is a good idea. And the people will want to see Angle win, so Angle will move on to the next round, where he will lose to Bobby Lashley in a great match. But Angle will eventually start to show his inability to compete at this level at his age, which I think is kind of apparent anyway. Lashley gets a strong W and heads to the finals. On the SmackDown side, I have, in the Jeff Hardy versus The Miz match, I have The Miz beating Jeff Hardy using heel tactics to pull an upset over fan favorite Jeff Hardy. So Miz gets some real organic heat at the event. And then I have Rey Mysterio beating Randy Orton. Orton takes an early lead and dominates for most of the match, similar to what the Rey debut match at SmackDown 1000 was, where Shinsuke just beat him up for like 15 minutes and then Rey won. And then in the finals on that side, Rey beats The Miz in a SmackDown Live rematch from a week ago that was pretty fun. Rey is too smart a veteran and catches Miz to go to the final. And then in the final match in the World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world, Rey Mysterio will beat Bobby Lashley. I'm not sure if that they've ever faced off before. It's kind of a typical classic WWE style of a David versus Goliath situation. I think Leo will get involved and Rey will hit a big spot to put him out.
Oh, I love that idea.
And then Rey winds up just being too fast for Lashley, and the fans pop for Rey winning the World Cup to determine the best in the world.
And I would totally be all right with that. I love the idea that you went with Rey versus Lashley for the finals. I love the idea of having Leo Rush in there, doing stuff with Rey, because that's a match I want to see.
Oh, dude.
I want to see Leo Rush versus Rey Mysterio.
I would absolutely love to see that be a match.
As far as my bracket and my predictions, it's a little different. Not by much, but it's a little different. So I've got the first match, Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. I have Seth Rollins winning, coming out looking very strong of that match. Seth Rollins moves on. Then for Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler, I have Ziggler beating Kurt Angle. Moving on to the semifinals for the Raw side, we have Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. I would put Ziggler over Rollins due to Dean Ambrose. Ziggler's in the finals. And then the SmackDown side of things, it's pretty much the same thing that you said. We have The Miz beating Jeff Hardy, and then Rey Mysterio beating Randy Orton, followed by Rey Mysterio beating The Miz. So my finals would be Rey Mysterio defeating Dolph Ziggler to become the best in the world.
Excuse me. He would have won the World Cup to determine the best in the world.
Oh, yes, my bad. Correction. Rey Mysterio will defeat Dolph Ziggler in the finals of the WWE World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world.
There you go.
After defeating Randy Orton and The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, solidifying his spot in the finals of the World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world.
So that will conclude our World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world coverage.
Yeah, so Rey Mysterio is going to win the World Cup to determine the best in the world. To be declared the best in the world. It's funnier the more you say it.
It really is. It's like the Survivor Series thing last year where we kept saying it.
Yeah.